My name is Sera Young. I'm a professor of anthropology and global health at Northwestern University in Chicago, United States. So my training is both in anthropology and public health nutrition, and kind of what orients me to the things that I do scientifically is maternal and child health. I mean, the things that help moms and babies to be healthier are the things that make me happy. The major area of my interest is measuring access and use of water and how water shows up in people's lives. I've led enormous efforts. It hasn't been me by myself to develop 12 what I call magical questions. It's called the Water Insecurity Experiences Scales. And these are 12 questions that take 3 minutes to understand if people are water secure or not for water for basic household or personal needs. Annoyingly, there's no one solution. I wish there was I'm working on developing the pill to do this. That's not it. But I think a very important first step that applies in rural communities and urban communities, applies in high-income countries, low- and middle-income countries, is to make the problems more visible. And right now, water insecurity, so problems with access, use, and reliability of water, goes invisible. And the way that we make things visible is by measuring them. It's not a very sexy reply. It's not a very sexy solution like measurement. It's like kind of a dry professor thing. But in fact, once we start to ask people about if they're worried about water, if they're having to change what they eat because of problems with water, if they're unable to wash their hands because of problems with water, suddenly this world opens up that makes people pay attention. It makes people with power pay attention. It makes politicians pay attention. And it makes the general public see that just because they themselves are living in a water secure world doesn't mean that the rest of their state, region, county is. One of the things that has been very surprising to me with understanding and measuring water security is how water is tied to everything else. So we can care about water as water as an intrinsic good, but if you care about breastfeeding, you should care about water security. If you care about medicine adherence, water is important for that. If you care about depression and stress, water can really drive those things. So I think about water as, I said this yesterday, I think about water as a gateway drug to making people who care about other things also care about water. I have just been so delighted by, it's not been my work, but I've been so delighted by seeing who I call the Ladies of Walgett, what that team there has done by measuring water insecurity and then attracting the attention of Australia Broadcasting Corporation, which in turn attracted the attention of the Minister of Water and really did sort of activate change. So it's not necessarily a technical solution, but it is a political and public will solution that has made ripples, if I understand correctly, across Australia. I don't think it's any surprise that 2030 safe water security for all by 2030, it's going to be tough. But one of the things that I have really taken to heart is that, I'm going to repeat myself, but we can't manage what we can't measure. And so right now, we just don't know what the water situation is. I mean, and this applies to the United States. I mean, I talk with senator staffers pretty regularly, and they're saying to me, our data on water in the United States is a D-. I don't know if that translates, but that's a bad grade. And so, right now we don't even really know the extent of the problem. So, no, we won't get to an A by 2030. But if we even can understand where we're at by 2030, that's the benchmark from which we can improve.